Good morning, everybody. You are listening to K-Talk Radio, 1640 AM. I am your host, Yoshi Shiraki. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. And today our very special guest is three-time Olympian J.R. Selski. 3 times. 3. That's insane. That's so insane. You know, JR, I've been in the Olympics 10 times, so the last 40 years I've been participating as an Olympian. I'm kidding, of course. Like 3 times. That's insane. So today what we're going to be talking about, guys, is mindset, right? We talk about a lot of real estate on this show, investing, entrepreneurial, being able to quit your 9 to 5, go do your passion, to chase something that you love. But a big component to what is missing in a lot of these opportunities for people that they're passing by is they don't have the proper mindset. Now, if you get to the Olympics once, that's because you believe in yourself, and that's where it starts. If you get to the Olympics 3 times, well, that's just like the most amazing mindset, right? And Jared's got a nightmare story that almost prohibited him from ever competing again, and you guys are not going to want to miss that. Not only is J.R. Selski a 3-time Olympian, but world record holder. Like, that's sick. To be able to say that you hold the world record at something, right? I can't say that for anything. Nothing. And so we're going to be talking about that, as well as preparing at a peak level to be an Olympian. JR's won multiple medals. So you're definitely not going to want to go anywhere. This show is going to be very, very powerful, impactful. If you're somebody who needs a little kick in the butt, you've been thinking about wanting to quit your job, quit your 9 to 5, pursue entrepreneurship, invest in real estate, flip houses, whatever it may be, start a business, but you can't get the fear to go away, so you stay paralyzed and you don't take any action, then you're going to want to definitely hear what JR has to share with us today. So, JR, thanks for sharing on my show today. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me here.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
And JR's a real estate investor too, by the way. We didn't talk about that. He's known for being an Olympian, 3-time Olympian, a little bit more, but JR is also a real estate investor. He understands the power of entrepreneurship. Oh, and an entrepreneur. He's got his own company. And so let's dive into this if you don't mind. Okay, can you please start off at the beginning on how you got started in speed skating, and how old were you, if you don't mind sharing?
Definitely, yeah. So my journey began at 3 years old.
Wow!
Up in Federal Way, Washington, of all places. It's a suburb about 20 minutes south of Seattle.
Very cool.
I grew up about a mile down the street from a roller skating rink called Patterson's West.
Really?
And my dad, my mom and dad had 3 kids, 3 young kids.
Boys?
And,
Boys?
all boys.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 older brothers.
Nice.
And my dad was just really trying to find something to get his sons involved in while my mom was at work at night. Because we were all rowdy, running around the house, and he's like, I've had enough of this. I gotta get these kids active. I gotta have them do something.
Right.
Fill the time. So prevent my hair from going gray quicker. But yeah, so he brought us to Patterson's West.
Okay.
And there was an inline speed skating team there.
Oh, wow.
So both my brothers and I, and my father actually joined the team.
Really?
Yeah, so all different ages. My brothers are 6 and 9 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of a wide age gap. And he just found a sport that we could all participate in.
Very cool.
Kind of kicked off from there. So I started at the the club level. We went to we went to regionals every year, which were in Oaks Park near Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
So we went down there every year. Started competing very early. I think my first competition I was about 4 years old.
Wow.
So
my son's 4. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just skating around in circles. So my parents, put me into it, and then the thing I realized is that, and they realized is that I had a big smile on my face every time I was doing laps and out there skating. So I genuinely enjoyed it. It was a fun thing for me to do. I I got pretty good. So like I said, started going to regionals. Started winning regionals. Then we went to nationals every year. I think my first nationals I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And then I went there and I got completely smoked by the kids. I had no idea what I was going to getting myself into.
Where was it?
It was in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay.
Of all places. Yeah. Cornhusker lands.
Right.
So I went out there and it was the first time in my life pretty much that I was in defeat. I got defeated. And I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
My dad actually had to pick me up off the floor because I was crying after losing the race. I came back 2 years later in 1998 to Fresno, California Nationals, and I won for the first time.
Wow.
So first time winning.
And how old were you there?
I was 8 years old.
Gotcha,
so,
8. Okay.
Yeah. So this was my first
Amazing.
inline speed skating national championship win, first big success. And at the same time, it's like I was a kid, and kids don't really think about the success they're having. They don't think about I'm winning all these. Of course, it's a big shiny medal, but
right.
I think kids are more honed in on having fun with things.
Exactly.
And that was definitely a highlight of what I tried to do throughout my life and career as a speed skater. Is just to continue to hone in on that and having that fun.
That is so cool.
So
obviously, your parents probably not only saw that you had a big smile on your face, but you were probably good to commit at 6 to traveling to nationals. You're now leaving your state, you got to get a hotel, there's travel expenses. Were you already at 6 recognizably better than the ones that you were kind of competing with back home?
Yeah, I think I would go back and forth. It was a really big inline scene in Washington where I grew up. So there's a lot of competition in itself just at home. Growing up and competing against the kids at home and knowing that I was on an equal or better level than that, kind of put me into the mindset that I was going to be on that level nationally, regionally and nationally as well. So
got it.
The club I grew up in Patterson's West, we went to nationals, and it was pretty much between us and another club out of High Point, North Carolina.
Really?
Where we would go back and just trade medal counts.
No way.
They were so deep and had so many people all the way from 4 years old to 65 plus. So it was just kind of a battle back and forth. But if you were good in that club, then you're gonna probably be good on the national level.
Got it. Is that still the case today?
I believe we are still winning medal counts. We're close. There's just such a great program up in Washington for inline speed skating, and
nice.
Who would have thought,
Yeah. So. Are you the only Olympian out of that club?
No.
Wow.
No, there's several. So actually, Apollo Ono was that. He was in that same team.
Got it.
And then myself, and then another kid actually who was in the 2018 Olympics. Aaron Tran is also from that club too.
So it is a deep club.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of people. We actually have another young girl coming up. She's I think she's 18 or 19, Corrine Stoddard, and she's out of the same club, and she's gonna do great things in the sport too. So it's kind of a breeding ground, is what's considered for ice skating.
You mentioned girls. Your wife is a coach for the U.S., right?
Yes,
she's Canadian.
Yeah, she's a Canadian. She's from Canada. She's actually the program director for the short track team now.
Amazing.
So she is pretty much in charge of development for short track in the United States, and she oversees the national training program.
Wow.
She has to travel a bunch, and understand how the pipeline in the United States works and make it better, and understand where our talent comes from, and kind of foster and raise that. So.
Very cool. And just for the record, for people that are listening, you can check out the video later when we put it out, because JR is young, right? You're talking 3-time Olympian, all this background. You kind of think that you're maybe hearing from an older gentleman. Him and his wife are young. Obviously, his wife's not in studio, so you can't see what she looks like, but they are. It's amazing what you guys do at such a young age to achieve what you guys have achieved. I'm very, very, very impressed. So JR, when did you realize then that you were just a little bit of another level above your competition and decided to take this to a more elite level versus fading off and focusing on something else in life?
Right, yeah. So at the time, around the 2002 Olympics, I was 12. I was playing multiple sports. I was in soccer, I played hockey, and I also inline speed skated. You know, I was definitely a lot better at inline speed skating than I was at the other two sports, but you know, it wasn't really a popular sport growing up. You know, what do you want to be? I want to be a soccer player.
Right.
I want to play in, you know, like the professional leagues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I want to be a football player. I want to go play in the NFL. Like, it's just kind of a random thing for a kid to realize when he's an early, you know, teenager, oh, I'm going to jump into a sport that's not super popular.
Right.
But in the 2002 Olympics, the sport was in Salt Lake City, actually here.
Yeah.
And just exploded internationally. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that happened at the Olympics. You know, like Stephen Bradbury coming a lap from behind when everybody fell and winning gold.
Oh yeah.
Like that story came out. Apollo won his medals here for the first time. So like just a bunch. Like it kind of put the sport on a whole nother level, and I was there to witness that. Trying, you know, as a kid trying to decide like.
Were you here watching?
No, I wasn't here. I was in Washington.
Got it.
You know, just watching on TV. But at the time, I was just like, well, you know, this is pretty amazing. Like if I could get to that level someday, that'd be cool. So it kind of just stuck out in my mind when I was trying to decide like, am I gonna keep playing soccer? Am I gonna keep playing hockey or whatever? So yeah, I just jumped right in. Like I told my parents, like I was 12 years old. I was like, I want to move. I want to start doing this full time.
Wow.
I want to start training for it. I want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, 2 years later, when I was 14, I told my parents like, I want to go and move away and start training like seriously for this.
Wow.
So we developed a plan. Obviously, it's a lot of information for parents to hear at that young age.
Yeah, exactly. At 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, sure, yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah. What are you talking about,
Go play
dude?
soccer.
Yeah, exactly.
Come back for
Go
dinner.
play some video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we decided on a plan together. You know, they were all in. You know, and they knew how much I loved it. So. Moved down to Southern California with my brother when I was 14.
Wow.
There was a really good coach and a good club down there. So I went down there and yeah, I pretty much like I went straight into high school down there. I had no friends. You know,
Amazing.
the only family I had down there was my brother.
Yeah.
So it was just a completely different environment for me. And yeah, that's pretty much when I started. So
That's incredible. So already at a young age, I'm already can tell that you're already a strong mindseted individual. Because at 14, most kids at 14, 15, 16, at 18, 21, don't even know what they want to be when they grow up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And at 14, already fully committed. Super impressive. Were you gonna say something?
No,
okay.
it's that yeah, you're right, and at the same time, I think I had been in skating for such a long time that it was kind of, you know, second nature to me to go out and compete. Obviously, thrusting yourself into competition and you know, like facing defeat and like facing failure and having success, it kind of throws you on a roller coaster.
Right.
Where you really understand and learn your emotions. So I feel like at a young age I was very aware of the emotions I was going through, that I was experiencing, but I didn't really understand until kind of, you know, when I started training down in California. You know, I was young. I was trying to make friends in high school. I was in public high school.
Oh yeah.
Trying to balance life. I had no idea what balance even meant.
Right.
My parents, you know, threw me in the car when I needed to go to practice. You know, they fed me. They took care of me. You know, and so I really had to understand what balance was at a young age, and it kind of came to a head when I was 16. I just like one day I called my dad and I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. Like I miss you guys. I miss being at home. I miss being a kid.
Yeah.
You know I want to train for the Olympics. I want to go to the Olympics, but I don't feel like myself.
Right.
So I actually like, you know, it was kind of my first bout with, you know, kind of being in a depression. You know.
Oh
and
yeah.
So, like when I was super young. So it wasn't right for me, and I moved home.
Oh cool.
Quit the sport completely.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I went back home. And yeah, I just literally just started going to school again. I jumped into swimming.
Oh, nice.
That was terrible. It was so bad. I don't know why. All my friends were on the swim team. So
Okay, yeah.
That was awful. I couldn't even make it like 4 laps without coming up and.
Michael Phelps had nothing to worry about.
I don't know what I was doing there, but yeah, I just wanted to try my hand at different things.
Yeah.
Experience just being a kid again, and a year later, I just I kind of got that desire back in me, that passion.
Yeah.
Came back, and this time I moved down with my dad for senior year of high school. And so I trained really hard that year. I had a great year, and I made the national team, U.S. national team.
Wow.
Moved out to Salt Lake the next year, and that's when my super serious training began for the Olympics. So.
Really? Okay, so that's super cool. Tell me a little bit about then, once you decided, okay, I'm moving to Utah, what does that path look like to your first Olympics? Because I have to imagine there's a lot of people that are good at something. Now let's just take Winter Olympics, because Salt Lake and Lake Placid are the only two cities in the nation that's ever held an Olympics for a Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
So we're the only two facilities that have, for instance, a bobsled run,
Yeah.
right? Only
Yeah.
2 bobsled runs in all of America, Lake
Yeah.
Placid, Salt Lake. So Salt Lake and Lake Placid probably are pretty good breeding grounds for potential Winter Olympians. What does that path look like for you, the time you move here and commit to the Olympics? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that move here and don't make it to the Olympics, right?
Right.
So what does it look like for you?
Yeah, so I moved when I'm 18. I had just made the World Cup team for the first time, so that means there's 6 World Cups that happen in a season. So I made the team that would travel to the first 4.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was living in Southern California at the time. So the team kind of travels together. We're kind of one unit.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to the World Cup level. And I just kind of reached a point where I needed to be around a team where I was going to get pushed.
Got it.
And I was going to be around experience and knowledge and have teammates around me to bring me to the next level as I could bring them. So I decided to make the move out here and, started training with the best in the U.S.
Right.
You had Olympians, world champions, World Cup medalists.
Yeah.
We were all on the same team.
Right.
So when I was thrust into that environment, it really kind of, switched my perception of training and the importance of being like an all-around athlete. Not only
Yes.
just training, but what I was doing outside of that as well.
Oh, makes sense.
We all kind of have our own little sayings. My dad always raised me on. He said, we established kind of. It's called setting the trend.
Yeah.
So it stands for training, rest, equipment, nutrition, desire. And so the 5 things that
I like
I was working on. I always worked on. And
Yeah.
I always worked on perfecting and understanding. And so at a very early age, I understood that. But it was like the first time. I'm sorry if I'm going over.
No. The
Okay.
screen just blacked out, so I had
got
to
it.
bring it back up.
Okay. But yeah, so it was the first time I had really been thrust into a situation where I had to practice those full on, and in order to get better and to be at the same level or better than the people that I was around here in Salt Lake.
Got it.
So that was really like I said, my first understanding, and then I started traveling. I started competing on World Cups. I actually won a medal at my first World Cup. It was a relay medal.
Wow.
But that's it's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a super good team with around me. So.
That's awesome. Where was that at?
That was in Vancouver,
Nice.
actually, and that was test ground for the Olympics
Oh,
2010
very
that
cool.
would happen the next year. So my whole family came up and they got to see, and it was super cool. Like,
That is super cool.
yeah.
What were the 4 cities you said? You said there were 4 of 6.
Yeah. So I believe I went to Vancouver. The next one was here in Salt Lake.
Oh,
So
cool.
that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I went to Beijing.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then I went to Nagano. Nagano, Japan.
Amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
So, 4 Olympic cities. Obviously, Vancouver was an Olympic city a year after, but I got to go out around and travel and experience, what it was like to compete on an international level.
That's amazing.
I got for some reason I was just like, not for some reason. I obviously worked really hard.
Right.
But I was at the level I needed to be at, you know, when I first started international competition, and that's just a testament to how strong the U.S. was at that time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Pushing each other. Are we still strong as the U.S.?
Yeah, we're getting back there. We've definitely had a transition over the past, I'd say 2 Olympics.
Got it.
A lot of the older generation quit and or retired and moved on and kind of made way for the newer generation to come up.
Gotcha.
We have huge breeding grounds right now for speed skating on the East Coast. Kind of the DMV area, Midwest, up in Garden State, New Jersey, and New York area is really popular now. So
interesting.
Yeah, I mean we're getting there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I always when I watched the Olympics in the past, it always was U.S. and Korea that seemed to be the dominant ones. Are they still dominant, Korea?
Yeah, Korea. I mean, Korea has the most medals out of any country.
That's like the baseball,
far.
right?
Yeah, that's definitely one of their national sports. Like one of their main national sports.
Yeah.
It's they have it in elementary schools.
Got it.
It's something you do from when you're a little kid. They have all the way up through high school, through college. They have pro teams.
Gotcha.
So they have the infrastructure there to be able to raise elite level athletes.
Got
and,
it.
All the way from the time that they're little kids.
Right.
Kind of the same way that the Chinese do is they, when they take the kids when they're very young out of the home and bring them into these training centers, and it's kind of along the same lines. It's like if you're kind of forced into that environment that early, it's like chances are going to be pretty good of you having success.
Exactly.
And we always called it it was like the breaking the egg method. So you throw 12 eggs against the wall, and the one that doesn't break is going to be world champion.
Right.
Just, and that's just, I mean, it's not even that. I mean, the depth that they have in South Korea for speed skating is just ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I mean, they're one of the best. Canada, China, a lot of the European countries are starting to get really good.
Really? Okay.
And yeah, the Netherlands, Hungary.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the U.S. is we're getting back there to that point. So.
Cool. Okay. Very cool. All right. So now I got to imagine at 6, maybe 8, maybe 14, you didn't even recognize what mindset was. You maybe had heard of it, but didn't recognize it. At what age? Now we're going to dive into mindset, because now you're competing in elite levels. What age did you realize mindset was something? Like you had, whether it was you had negative thoughts that came into your head right before a race or positive thoughts. When did you realize that mindset was something that you needed to actually be aware of?
Yeah. Honestly, mindset is one of those things that as an athlete looking back, I kind of wish that I didn't really start caring about it as much. So early.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of grace in just being able to go out there and do your best.
Right.
Go out there and just have fun.
Play.
And, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as a kid, like I said, like that's what you're focused on.
Right.
So until you reach that point of like, okay, well, something's wrong.
Yes.
I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
You don't really understand the importance of mindset. So, but yeah, no, like, I think when the first time I kind of experienced that whole mindset thing was when I started understanding what importance mindset was when I started competing consistently on the international level.
Got it.
And I'd go out there and I'd have a great race.
Yeah.
And I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Right.
And then I'd go out, the next weekend and completely bomb a race.
Got it.
And so like those highs and lows, after a while you start to understand like, okay, well, if in order to be my best, I need to understand what's going on in there.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, I mean, like there's nothing more graceful and nothing better than just forgetting about what you're thinking about.
Right.
Mindset is all about, a lot of people say like, oh, I need to think I need to win.
Yeah.
I need to think I need to go out there and achieve this.
Yes.
But honestly, like how I think it works is, you need to go out there and perform your best. Don't worry about the expectations that other people have on you. That stuff weighs you down.
Right.
And like I said, going through those ups and downs, we have those things that automatically kind of infiltrate our brain that we think about. Like, well, oh, am I am I not doing something right? Is something, something that I'm doing back at home with training, is something going wrong? So as soon as you start thinking about that, that's weight.
Right.
It's weight on your shoulders, right?
Right.
So if you can essentially, the whole mindset training process is eliminating that weight in order to kind of alleviate the stress that you're going through.
Right.
And you can hone in and focus on very tangible and quantifiable things.
Got it.
I need to go out and skate this first corner in this time.
Yeah.
I need to feel this way when I enter the corner. Like very small details. So if you can lift that weight off from all the exterior, kind of forces that are coming down on you from that stress, the more you're going to be prepared to perform your absolute best.
Got it.
That's it. Yeah.
So getting in a state of just enjoying yourself.
Definitely.
Playing, like when you were a kid.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously it's, there's a lot of focus that goes into, like I said, focusing on and honing in on those details.
Right.
You can't just go out and, and train and then show up on the line and be like, all right, I'm just going to have fun today. I'm going to forget everything that I did and just go out and, so like there's like a bunch of, technique involved in the sport. So really understanding what you're doing technically. Obviously the times are important because, you're racing against, people who have done certain times before.
Right.
So you're trying to, understand, okay, I need to go this fast to beat that person.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's really about, you can only control yourself, right? You can only control your thoughts, your actions. You can't control anybody else around you. And it kind of comes to a head in short track speed skating because, everybody else thinks that way, but you are racing against each other 35 miles per hour, 4 of you at a time around a 111 meter track going, with 18-inch blades on your feet. So it's like, okay, I can do what I'm going to do, and I came out here to do, but at the same time, I do have to deal with this guy next to me.
Right.
That's trying to beat me.
Exactly. Cutting you off, bumping into you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, when I watch you guys make that turn, you're almost horizontal.
Yeah.
As you turn, you guys go sideways, and you stick your hand down. Just, I don't know, is that to make sure you don't fall?
Yeah, we have tips, so either carbon fiber or epoxy on our fingertips, and what we do is when, we're making, pretty much 180 degree turn in a matter of, however many, 40 meters or 30 meters, so we, in order to, keep ourselves like basically upright while we're doing that, a lot of times we'll put our hand down to keep our balance.
Got it.
But there is there's what's called a rocker and a bend on the actual blade, so when you put it on its side and you let it go, it will just naturally take the shape of that corner.
Oh, really?
So that's what we're getting on our edge.
Yeah.
We're letting that ride out.
Got it.
And in the meantime, just trying to stay up.
That's amazing. Gotcha. Awesome. Okay, so based off what you just shared with me, there's a lot to think about. Did you have a ritual for mindset that you would work on either on a daily basis or before a meet? I've seen athletes that will use music to get them in the right state, hyped or in the right frame of mind. Kind of maybe the music takes the negative thoughts out of their head because the music's now bringing in whatever positive vibes they want from that song. Did you have any type of ritual that you would do through training, race day, or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point. You brought up the music. That was a big thing for me. Zoning out, getting into something else, listening to some other kind of words of, like somebody else's thoughts, so you don't have to focus really on yours.
Right.
But no, I think music was a big part of my career as an athlete. Another thing is visualization.
Got it.
And that's very popular with most athletes,
yes.
professional and amateur. Just visualizing how you want something to go, practicing that in your head over and over and over and over again until you're actually out there trying to do it. That's super important. The saying thoughts are things.
Yes.
Or, we attract what we think.
Right.
So the more you can think positive thoughts about and speak affirmations.
Yep.
More likely, in my opinion, my belief, the more likely it's going to happen to you, right? The more you think about something, the more likely it's going to happen either good or bad.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, like that visualization piece is key. Meditation is super important. So, you know, like going back to what we talked about, is just forgetting about, you know, the stresses in your life for a bit, letting yourself get back to center, get back to understand, like, okay, this is my goal, or this is my purpose, this is what I'm trying to do, without looking at all the you know, outside influence.
Got it.
So
with that visualization, I've heard in an interview a long time ago, Floyd Mayweather says that he visualizes the fight before the fight 100 times, so that when the fight happens, he's seen in his mind every punch that he anticipates the guy will throw based off of the guy's style. And so he already knows what it's going to look like the day he steps in the ring. So he's visualizing, and I didn't know if he didn't go on if it was a daily ritual or just like a random ritual that he would do 100 times before a fight. Was this visualization that you would do something daily, weekly?
Yeah, I know. That's a great point you brought up about you know, boxing and having visualization. Before going into the ring, it's pretty comparable to the fast-paced you know, action in skating.
Right.
You know, as soon as you step on that line, or as soon as that bell rings, it's like, you know, you can envision something happening, like, you know, you said, like 100 times.
Yeah.
But chances are, is it going to happen in that exact same way you envision? Probably not. So, like, that's the first step, is just kind of understanding, getting a mental image of what's, you know, what potentially could happen to me. Or what can I potentially do out there? The next step is obviously execution, and that's a huge part. You know, we can prepare as much as we want. We can have, you know, a mindset that's flawless.
Yeah.
But if we don't go out there and execute our plan, you know, the way we intended to, and go out and you know, and you can apply this to so many different facets of life. If you don't execute the way you prepared for, then, you know, and it's essentially it's, you know, it's just wasted your time type of thing. But yeah, so there's so many different steps, and you know, that you need to take in order to become successful in sport. And I think, you know, like breaking it down, you know, step by step, kind of gives you an idea of what it takes to be there. So
that's great. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a fast distance runner. I had a goal, I think it was 15 years ago, to run the New York Marathon, which I did. I ran the New York Marathon, and I ran it in about 5 hours. So, like, applying that thought, like, you've got to execute. I could sit here and visualize all day that I'm going to run it in 4 hours the next time, but I'm not going to train. It's not going to happen. It's probably going to be longer than 5 hours, right? Because I trained for it, and I still ran it in 5 hours. I'm not a distance runner. So that execution on top of the visualization is so key.
It's key.
Right? And so, like, for real estate, like, yeah, you can envision yourself owning a portfolio of real estate, but if you're not executing the steps in between, building a power team, educating yourself on it, it's probably not going to happen as well.
Exactly, yeah. And it, you know, you look at social media nowadays, and you can scroll through your feed, and, you know, see a big car, and like, okay, I want to get there. I want to get there. A big house. I want to get that. I want to get all that. You know, all of that for myself. And I think nowadays it's like people want that. You know, but what steps are you taking? Exactly what you said. What steps are you actually taking to get what you want? And focusing in, and that's the struggle. You know, that's the struggle that most people don't want to go through.
Exactly.
But that struggle is necessary in order to reach the end goal. Exactly with sports. With real estate, with anything.
Yep. So. Love it. Okay, perfect. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, JR is gonna share with us a nightmare story, and this is where I think your mindset maybe was put to the test at its fullest, because he was in an accident. I'll let JR tell the story. And if I understand correctly, there were doctors maybe, or people that probably thought you might not ever skate again competitively. And you went to your third Olympics after that, right? So
sorry, that was my first Olympics.
Oh, that was your first Olympics. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So yes. And here you are now facing this major adversity. That's where the mind could just say, I'm done, right? But it didn't. And you went on for 3 more. Okay, excellent. All right, guys, stay tuned. We're going to come back to a quick commercial. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, come back and hear from JR on his nightmare story. With smartphones and technology making life a little easier, the Snap Leash has also been designed to make life a little easier for you and your pup. Whether you're out on a stroll in the park, or possibly a walk through the city, or maybe even a hike up in the mountains, the Snap Leash is the perfect leash for you. The Snap Leash can easily and conveniently convert into 7 types of leashes, making the Snap Leash the most convenient leash in the world. What other leash do you know that has 7 leashes in one? With the Snap Leash having appearances on the Today Show in New York City, TV 47 in Dallas, Texas, and ABC 4 right here in Midday, Utah, you are definitely going to want to take a peek at what the Snap Leash can do for you and your best friend. Make life a little easier for you and your pup, and visit www.snapleash.com today. Alright guys, we are back. This is K-Talk Radio, 1640 AM. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. Today our special guest is 3-time Olympian J.R. Selski. It's now time for the nightmare story. J.R. went through an accident, and his mindset, thankfully, was strong enough to overcome the accident. So, if you don't mind, I'd love to hear the story.
Yeah, definitely. It's, every time I tell the story, think about it, it brings me back into that moment. So, I'll try to give you the best picture of it possible. But basically, I had just come off of my first international season, competing on the World Cups, World Championships.
Wow.
I had gotten second at World Championships, so, just right off the top of the podium. But I was at a level that I knew I needed to be at going into the Olympic season.
Nice.
In order to reach my goal of winning a medal. And this would be my first Olympics, Vancouver, Canada, 2010. It was September of 2009, so
Got it.
About 5 months before the Olympics.
Oh my gosh! I didn't realize it was so close.
Yeah, so this is our Olympic trials for the U.S. national team. For the U.S. team.
Got it.
There was 16 of us, both men and women, that went in and competed against each other for 5 potential spots on the U.S. Olympic team.
Wow.
My first Olympic trials, and I trained so hard that summer to to get ready. I just really wanted to be on that Olympic team. I really wanted to take that step so I can have that place, so I can have the potential to go out and win an Olympic medal at the Olympics. So train hard for Olympic trials. I went out. I made the Olympic team, I think, within the first couple days of the competition.
Nice.
I think within the first 2 days I had guaranteed a spot in one of the distances.
Wow.
We have 4 distances, 3 of them are individual, so I had claimed a spot in one of those individual distances.
Very cool.
And it's kind of broken down from there how the team is decided, but I went on for the rest of the weekend, and obviously the pressure was off my shoulders to make the team. So I just went out and skated and had a great time.
Yeah.
Obviously just kind of used it as I needed to qualify for the other distances as well. So
yes.
There was that pressure, but I just kind of let it go and did my best out there. And going into the last day of trials, it was the 500 meters, which is our shortest race.
Got it.
It takes usually just a little bit over or under now 40 seconds.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And so this is sprint. It's the 100 meters of track.
Okay.
So you're just going out and sprinting from the very beginning.
Got it.
So I was, I believe, in second place, trying to qualify for the next round. I think it was a semifinal, either quarter or semifinal. With 1 lap to go, I fall in the corner and slide into the boards and hit the boards and bounce off, and I look down and the front 6 inches of my blade is sticking into my my thigh.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So I'm looking down and it's stuck in there.
It's stuck in
your
your leg.
I have to pull it out.
Oh wow.
And I look down at what is just like it looks like a fresh cut of like filet mignon or something.
Oh.
Like just staring into the muscle belly all the way down to my bone.
Oh.
Sorry, it's super graphic.
No, that's great. I love it.
I could see veins. I could see everything.
Oh my gosh.
And it was gnarly. And what makes it worse is my family was sitting. Everybody came up to my, to watch me.
Yes.
My whole family. I have grandmas, aunties, uncles.
Yeah.
Cousins.
Yes.
Friends. Obviously my parents and my brothers are there, but
right.
My brother's there, but it happened right in front of them.
Oh, no way.
So they saw everything happen like right before their eyes.
Oh
too.
my gosh.
And you know, it's funny. I go back to this story and I'll have like I'll start talking about, you know, Olympic trials, and I'll have multiple people tell me like, I remember that day.
Yeah.
Like I had to leave the arena.
Wow.
Like, so you know, it just had a big
Yes.
big impact on, you know, obviously there's racing left to be done. So
Yes.
people had to refocus and go out there and skate. But yeah, I pulled the blade out.
Oh my gosh.
Paramedics took a little longer than they should have. And my buddy, my teammate, his name's Walter Rusk,
Yeah.
he realized that I was injured.
Yeah.
So he actually jumped out of, he was just watching races, he jumped out of the stands, in the process took his shirt off, came up to me,
No
put
way.
a tourniquet like right behind the cut
Wow.
to try to prevent the blood from
Yeah.
coming out.
Yeah.
My heart rate was 180, probably
of
180,
course.
185
Sprinting.
beats per minute because it's
Yes.
sprint, right?
Yes.
So if I would have like cut my femoral
Yeah.
artery, which I was an inch away from cutting,
Wow.
I would have bled out on the ice.
Oh my
so he
gosh.
had that intuition to jump out and like, this kid needs help.
Yeah.
You know, let me go help him.
Amazing.
And yeah, I got out there like 30 seconds before the paramedics did.
Amazing.
Yeah, they took forever to get out there to me.
They were like on Facebook?
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. I probably had never walked or been on ice before.
Right.
So probably just trying not to fall get nose.
Yeah.
Took me to the hospital. I had 60 stitches.
Holy cow.
They can't go in and sew the muscle belly itself. That kind of has to naturally happen over time. So they sewed kind of like the inner layer of my skin and the outer.
Yeah.
60 stitches there. And basically, you know, like I said, it was 5 months out from the Olympics. And
Yeah.
who in their right mind would think like I'm
Gonna
gonna go and compete?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
5 months later at
Yeah.
the Olympics. So.
The pain in your heart probably was worse than the pain in your leg,
Definitely,
right?
yeah, I
Like
mean,
the
that-
devastation.
Oh yeah, and I was sitting there. The doctor was actually on call. It was a Saturday, I believe, so he wasn't even at the hospital. I had to wait for like an hour to go into surgery.
Man.
And they couldn't give me any pain medication because they didn't want the blood to thin, and so I would bleed faster.
Right.
So I was sitting there for an hour, just
Oh no.
in my skin suit, actually.
Really?
Like, I hadn't even taken it off yet.
no.
And just like, I was sitting there with my mom, and I just broke down.
Of
you know,
course.
it was like something. I had made it. You know,
Yeah.
I had made the Olympic team.
Yeah.
I was that much closer, and
Yes.
just literally got cut before my eyes. So.
Wow. That's I've never, and maybe it's more common than I know, but that's, to my knowledge, not common, right? That's not a common accident.
No.
Like broken bones in football. It's not a surprise.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there have been several bad cuts before. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's been any deaths from cuts, but similar accidents
Gotcha.
to mine, where people cut their muscles. I've had a former teammate and friend, cut his nose off.
Oh my gosh.
They completely cut the tip of his nose off.
Wow.
Yeah, Rusty Smith, and I guess they had to like sew it back on. A plastic surgeon had to sew it back on.
Holy cow.
But yeah, stuff like that happens.
Got it.
Actually, my wife had a blade come up and get her right in the middle of the nose.
Really?
Yeah, and
Holy
she
cow.
wasn't wearing glasses that day.
Yeah.
And that just like, it just happened to be the day that I didn't show up at practice because we were skating at like 6 a.m. So of course she was then my girlfriend, but she gets cut.
Yeah.
Like, and I show up at the hospital and yeah, it was a gnarly one right
Oh
in the middle of
my
her nose.
gosh.
So it's possible. I mean, it's definitely possible. It doesn't happen like super often. We wear cut-proof.
Okay.
Kevlar
Yeah.
now, which was kind of a rule that was enforced after I got cut.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it just was, it was like it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I basically told myself in the hospital, you have to realize just what happened to you and let it
Right.
soak in.
Right.
Don't worry too much, don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
Just realize and accept the fact that this happened.
Right.
Because then I won't, I'm not gonna sit there and feel remorse for myself.
Right.
I couldn't control it. It just happened.
Yeah.
So, I took basically the next month and a half to rehab myself back to the point where I could walk again.
Yes.
And I was in Colorado Springs working with the best doctors and physical trainers in the country
Got
trying
it.
to get back.
Gotcha.
So at the Olympic Training Center, so they, they worked with me 6 to 8 hours a day on rehab. So
Wow.
I was, obviously you have to imagine like all the muscle being connected again,
Yeah.
and attached again before I can even start firing the muscle enough to walk or stand
Right.
up. And so that had to happen. That had to take place. I was in the pool doing aerobic workouts. I was on the arm bike because I couldn't move my legs in order to get
yeah.
my
Yeah.
heart working.
Right.
I was just put through just a rigorous 2.5 months. So it took me like a month and a half for me to walk again.
Wow.
It took me another month to be able to get on my skates.
Amazing.
And that's quick. And,
Yeah.
and thankfully I didn't cut any like ligaments or tendons. I didn't
Got it.
hit my artery.
Yeah.
So it was just like strictly muscle belly.
Gotcha.
Which is the reason why I was able to connect
Amazing.
in time. So yeah, I get back to Salt Lake 2.5 months after this happens, and I start training again with the team. And I lost a significant portion. Like obviously, I lost one of my muscles.
Yeah.
Like almost completely.
Yeah.
My VMO,
Oh my
that
gosh.
teardrop muscle above your knee, but also my other, the outside of my leg wasn't working. The other parts of my quad weren't working as well. So
Amazing.
yeah, it took me quite a while to actually get back to the strength where I could actually go around and skate in circles comfortably.
Yes.
Obviously, like, I have cuts and blades like
Right.
creeping on my mind with the possibility of
Yeah.
falling and injuring yourself is now in the back of my mind.
Right.
So that's something I have to work on, diving back into mindset. It's
Right.
just, that affected me so much. I was thinking about it, right?
Yep.
And in order, talk about mindset, to get in the right mindset, I have to let that go.
Yes.
Right? I have to forget about that.
Yes.
Forget about the fear.
Right.
And
Right.
and face my fear head on.
Right.
And go out there and actually attack it.
Yep.
And that's how in my mind I got over that fear. Is just going out and just
Yeah.
taking it down.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I get out there, and then I get to the Olympics. I'm in my first race, and I had no idea what to expect. Like I hadn't raced up until that point after the
Amazing.
accident.
Yeah.
I hadn't raced in those 5 months.
Wow.
Maybe did like a small little practice competition, but I had no idea what I was capable of. So I
Yeah.
go out for my first race. It's a 1500 meter. No expectations, obviously.
Right.
Nobody else expects me to.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a ranking from that season because I didn't compete. It was the trials, and they had
Oh,
World
gosh.
Cups after that. So
Yeah.
I didn't even have a ranking. So like I look up at the board and I'm like, no ranking, or I'm like dead last or
Yeah,
something. So
yeah.
like, no pressure. Nobody's
Right.
expecting me to do well. Everybody's
Yeah.
just like, okay, this kid made it back. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's able to skate. I
Yeah.
go out and win bronze.
No way.
In the 1500 meter.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so it was just it just a testament to hard work, mindset,
Yes.
facing your fears,
Love it.
breaking bad habits. I think when you talk about all these steps, you can apply them to like you said,
Yeah.
business and,
Yeah.
and real estate, entrepreneurship is just
Yep.
same type of mindset for that. So
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. We've got about 4 minutes left in the show. Can you share with the listeners some tips that maybe you've seen work for you or work for some of your teammates, other Olympians or even competitors that you, through conversation or observation, realized this has helped them in strengthening their mindset to overcome fear, to actually execute and take action?
Yeah.
Can you share some tips?
Yeah, that's great. I think the first thing, in talking with people and understanding it for myself is you have to take the first step.
Yeah.
Right? You have to, and whether that's unnatural or natural, in order to go from there, or in order to grow, you have to jump into it.
Right.
So a lot of things can hold you back, whether it be, a job that you might not like, whether it be, a relationship with a friend or, significant other that, it's just, I'm not, a lot of things can hold you back from doing and being who you actually want to be. So as soon as you confront that fear and you take action on it and you jump into it, then you've opened up a whole nother lane so you can can see clearly and understand, okay, this is where I want to go from here.
Right.
And then from then on out, it's you know what I talked about with setting quantifiable, you know, goals.
Yes.
And you know, short term, long term, understanding what you want to accomplish at the end, and big picture, small picture, whatever. It's you have to set those goals for yourself, and obviously, you know, you're gonna adapt and you're gonna change those goals over time, and you know, you might eliminate one and come up with a new one. But if you have those and you understand, like, I need to go out and do this for myself.
Yeah.
I need to, you know, I'm passionate about this.
Right.
A lot of times we become passionate after setting goals. We become more passionate and understand why we're actually doing it. And on the flip side, you're passionate about something and you want to start a business, so you know, you go in, and a lot of times, you know, they say, like, you know, the business side of things kills your passion, because you have to focus on the things you might not be as passionate about. Right. Accounting,
taxes,
inventory, you know, whatever.
Exactly.
Like, but those are all necessary steps in order to reach the end.
Got it.
The end success. So, like, really understanding what those goals are, what those steps are.
Yeah.
You know, taking the good with the bad, understanding that everything's part of the plan, and then executing on a daily basis.
Awesome.
Really it.
Very cool. Love it. All right, guys, we are at the end of our show. Jared, you've got a website of, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. If you're open to it, we'd love to have you back, because I want to hear more about your businesses now.
Definitely.
Can you share the website of where people can go check out your skating products?
Yeah, it's jrselski.com, jrcelski.com. That's just my personal website, and from there I have a bunch of links that kind of lead to. I made a documentary. I have I own a small company, a speed skating apparel and manufacturing company, and then I have a few things on there you can go and check out. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, JR, thank you for joining me today on the show. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome, guys. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of this weekend. You've been listening to K-Talk Radio 1640, and this is the show Utah Home Sweet Home. I'm your host, Yoshi Shiraki, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of the weekend.